is it good enough now? I measure margin for error, and I apologize to all the Six Sigma people. I measure margin for error because it can be taught in a matter of 5 minutes. Everybody knows what margin for error is. You don't need to mention statistics to teach margin for error, and there's only one way to calculate it. You can't get it wrong. Which one of these cars, if this is a car going through a tunnel, the tunnel represents your medical goals. If you move half your distance to the right, which one's going to crash first, the wide one or the smaller one? And this time, it's the wider one. This would represent a method with wider imprecision. When you set up your risk levels, you're really saying, how much of that car am I willing to sacrifice? Do I want to make sure it doesn't even scratch the paint on the mirror? Can we knock off the mirror because we've got to get through this tunnel and it's important, and still get through? Am I willing to scratch the paint on the car? What amount of risk are you willing to endure before you stop, before you crash, and fix the method before you get there? You can convert margin for error directly to a % risk. A margin for error, you can set it so that it hits 0. The beautiful thing of a margin for error is 0 is always unacceptable. You set it up so that margin for error becomes 0 when your desired risk level is unacceptable. I set this one up for an acceptable risk level of 2.3%. That means my margin for error there is 0. If I have a margin for error of 1, it's virtually 0%. If my margin for error is minus 0.35, that's equivalent to a sigma of 1.65, and that's a 5% error rate. If my margin for error is minus 1, that's a 16% error rate, and that's a 1 sigma method. Another reason I prefer margin for error above sigma is it is so intuitive that when the method is 0, things are bad.